What is up, you guys? It is Zach, and welcome back to my channel. I've got a decently fun one for you guys today. I'm going to be talking about Shut Up Discord. I'm going to talk about a game that I played that I've loved recently, and I even have a little special guest on the channel, so that's always very exciting. And Luigi's Mansion 4 Concepts Part 3, that's coming out later this week. So check that out when it comes out, Part 3. We're talking about Egad and his lab. We're getting closer to spooky season, so being able to talk about Luigi's Mansion anytime I can get, love it. So, yes, you guys, we're going to be talking about a Nintendo Switch game that the title thumbnail kind of already reveals it, but I want to give a little bit of context as to why I'm really going to gush about this game for a little bit. This year for the Nintendo Switch has been not my cup of tea. Not saying it's been bad. I know a lot of people are excited about Mario and Rabbids and you know, Kirby earlier this year and Switch Sports and Mario Strikers, whatever. But this year, just not for me. There were only 2 games that came out this year that I got genuine excitement out of, which was Mario Strikers Battle League and Pac-Man World Repack. Now, this game ended up being utter dog shit. How did Nintendo screw up this badly? They completely messed it up. And Pac-Man World Repack was a good game. It was fun, well worth the $30 or $40, whatever, that I spent on it, but not a game that like makes me go like, chef's kiss. So that is what sucked out this year until I played a little game back in June called Life is Strange True Colors. Now, I really enjoyed this game. I had such a fun time playing this game because it was so different, yet so similar to games I've played before. The big comparison I always give games like this are games like The Quarry, where it's a game where your decisions matter and you gotta guide characters and build relationships and stuff like that. But the game that this game did differently than games like The Quarry, which I kind of expected it to be a little bit relatable to, is this game focuses a lot more on the characters and story, and then games like The Quarry and Until Dawn focus more on the spooks and the how many times or how many ways can you get your character killed. And I like both in their own ways. But there was something about when I played Life is Strange True Colors that really grabbed me, and it was definitely the relationships between the characters and the story building, or the story and the world building, there we go, just really crafted really well, and I really liked it. And I thought that this was going to be my favorite game this year, just because of how amazingly crafted it was. But, alas, it has been dethroned by its older brother, or I guess sister, Life is Strange, the Arcadia Bay Collection, which came out before this, like the Life is Strange games came out before this, but the Switch version came out after the sequel thing. It's hard to explain. Now, I've only played through it once, so my grasp on the story is still pretty minimal, so what I'm going to do is give you guys a basic run-of-the-mill tutorial, or not tutorial, but explanation as to what the story is. And when I said I'm going to do it, my special guest is going to do it, PurpleDough. Her link will be in the description down below, so make sure to check her out, and she's going to give a little bit of an explanation of the story of Life is Strange. So, here she is.
Okay, so, Life is Strange. Where do we get started on such an interesting game? If you are very new to the series, then welcome, and get ready for a journey of mixed emotions, to say the least. Life is Strange, if you don't know, is a very impactful game. This game originally came out in 2015, and if I'm wrong, then 2015, or if I'm wrong, then 2014, but I'm pretty sure it was 2015. And people are still talking about the mainline game today, and I think that speaks for itself. There are a lot of games that usually fade into abyss and never are spoken of again. However, with Life is Strange, it being a story-based game and something that's not super action-packed or, you know, your main like first-person shooter, it's very nice to see a game like this still have that community that people, you know, cherish the game and the characters, which I appreciate a lot. Now, I haven't played the game in quite a long time, if I'm being completely honest with you. I have not played that game in a while. But to sum up the first game, it follows a girl named Max Caulfield, and she's a photographer, and she's moving back to her hometown, and she's ready to start her photographer lifestyle and her career. However, she finds out that she has a power slash gift slash curse, and it is to be able to time travel. So throughout the game, you and her best friend, Chloe Price, will travel a long time trying to fix a storm coming to your town. Another thing, you can make choices throughout the game. That's the whole thing. You get to make a choice, and those actions will have consequences depending on what choice you make. So think wisely before choosing. Yes, you can go back in time, but just think first. I think that's the best way to sum up the mainline game, because I feel like even in the first 10 minutes you kind of get all of that. So I'm just gonna say that's your basis.
Thank you for that explanation. Yes, as you heard, you play as a character named Max, your choices matter, and you guide her through a story, and there was something so profound about this story that I really liked. I mean, it was like, you're a girl going through high school, so not something that I could really relate to, but there was something about how deep the story goes and how each character interacts with each other and how you can really build or destroy relationships with characters. It's super interesting. And of course, Max has this time travel mechanic, which, by the way, is really freaking good. It led to some really cool puzzle solving. I love the different puzzles that this game gave you in terms of using your time travel power. For example, something that doesn't really spoil the story too much, there's a scene where you're in a diner and you have to pay attention to events going on in the diner to prove to your friend Chloe, who PurpleDough mentioned, that you can actually, not travel in time, but rewind time to fix mistakes that were made. Really interesting stuff here. I really liked it. That's the one thing I think was above True Color's main gimmick, which was to be able to read people's emotions. Being able to read people's emotions was really, really cool in terms of building relationships with characters and just how they all played out. But what I really liked about the time traveling mechanic is that it led to some really cool gameplay choices. And I know PurpleDough said that, I know you can rewind time to change decisions, but I may have did that a couple times just to see how different options would play out. Though obviously it wouldn't go too long because you can only go back so far. So it's not like you can really, go back all the way. You can just go back a little bit. It was such a fun time, with the time traveling mechanic, but one thing I didn't realize, given that I had never played these games before, or really looked into them that much, is how dark this game would get. Now, True Colors I did play, and it did touch on some darker themes, and there were some scary moments, but the original Life is Strange, holy crap. Fair warning for those of you guys who are a little more sensitive to certain things, there's, suicide, in this, there's drug use, there's peer pressure and bullying, there's a bunch of dark stuff in this game. And, it really pulled at my heartstrings. There were some characters that I really felt an emotional attachment to, and was just really sad whenever bad things happened to them. I'm really trying not to spoil anything. It's so hard. I might do a video in the future where I talk a little bit more in depth about the game and talk about spoilers and stuff, but this is just for you guys to know what you're getting into. And the great thing about this game is that it also comes with the DLC, which is called Before the Storm. That's what it's called, Before the Storm, where you play as Max's friend Chloe before the events of the actual main game. So it's a bit of it's a prequel, basically, because the prequel connects a lot to things that happen in the main story. So it's kind of like a build-up. Though I do recommend you play the main game before the prequel, because many times people like to play the prequels, and there is some emotional stuff that happens in the main game that would have hit a lot harder if I had played the prequel first. But I still think you should play the prequel afterwards, just because you get to see more of a character that you really think you get to know in the main game, but then you get to know her more in the prequel, if that makes sense. I'm going to hand it off to PurpleDough one more time just to ask, since she's a longtime fan of the game, maybe not when the game launched, I don't know her play history of the game, but what was one thing from Life is Strange that you really, really loved?
Now, what I love about the game, I'm gonna have to say just the story. I know it's kind of bland, but it is a story game, and I think that the most important thing to do in games like this is have an engaging story and amazing characters. Of course, people are going to say that the writing is very interesting because when you do play the game, you will understand why I'm saying that. But the characters really make you question a lot of things. I think that with a character specifically like Chloe Price, people debate about that character, whether she's a good or bad person today, which I find extremely fascinating because it just goes to show you how impactful that character is and how people confide in her and people hate her. So I think that it's just a great game to at least play once and just enjoy the story, enjoy the ride, and really think about your choices when making them.
I completely agree. Like I mentioned, the story for this game is chef's kiss, like really, really good and really engaging. Like, I don't know how to describe it without spoiling anything, but it was really good. And I'll be honest, the twist at the end, which I won't spoil, the twist at the end, it got me, but like, I was like, I knew it because I had made a prediction, like a wild prediction, and thought it was wild, but that ended up being the case. Like, and I literally had a, oh my god, I knew this moment, but I don't know. Really, really cool stuff. So thank you, PurpleDough, for joining me for this video. Plug in your stuff really quickly.
Now, if you like Life is Strange content, be sure to check out my channel, which is titled PurpleDough, and I post a little bit of Life is Strange content here and there. I have plenty of videos on my page, so if you are interested in checking those out, be sure to click on the link in the description below. And thanks for having me on the channel. See ya.
So yes, PurpleDough's YouTube channel will be in the description down below. She's really into horror games and stuff too, like legit my cup of tea. So hopefully we get to collaborate again on some other stuff, whether it's about horror games or Life is Strange if I do a full thing. I don't know. So yeah, thank everyone for watching. Thank PurpleDough for joining me. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff down below. And of course, hit that notification bell so that you're notified of when I upload videos. Check out the merch store. Cool ZakPak merch up on there for you to check out. And until next time, you guys, I'll see you in the next video.